What's good, everyone? This is Deb the Coolest.
And this is JB.
And welcome to Slick Talk. Hey, with
it's lit. It's literally
with
lit.
a hashtag. Hey, I want to be
that.
that. We would
like this and like that. Hey,
I want to be that.
Yeah, y'all don't see his face, y'all. He got the face and everything. I gotta be that.
I was doing it.
What?
Well, this is best friend, huh?
Yeah, that is best friend.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, welcome back, y'all. I really wish y'all can see us. We not gonna let y'all see us right now. Eventually,
y'all.
So I haven't had a haircut in 6 months. And the way that my face is set up, we were going to actually have it set up this season.
Yeah, we were, but we'll put it off.
We'll put it off. Everything is put off.
Yeah.
But how y'all doing, y'all? We hope y'all taking care of yourselves.
Being safe and sane.
Taking care of your mental health, taking care of your physical health, taking care of yourselves overall.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing the same with you. So today we want to talk about two different topics.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The first topic being, first I want to say, and I'm always doing that. First I want to say, but just to put it out there.
First for the preface.
Yeah, for the preface, I just want to say that this has been a conversation that has been bubbling in the Black community, and I was essentially saying just in the U.S. in general, coinciding with Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. So there has been a new movement that has emerged from the Black Lives Matter, which is now it's all Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. So you had something to say about that?
No, we will talk about it. We will get to it. Yes.
Perfect. So essentially, not to give it as enough credit or to, I guess, essentially, I don't want to sound like I'm dumbing it down or anything, but in my terms, what I got from it is that it's highlighting individuals in the Black community that don't get enough recognition when things happen to them, i.e. people in the LGBTQ Black community, same things for people that are facing mental health in the Black community, Black women in the community, homelessness, elderly, like those type of intersected communities in our community, in our overall community that don't get enough acknowledgement when things happen in their intersected community.
Yeah, so, and I want to also make it very clear that we're not saying the Black Lives Matter movement is less than all Black Lives Matter. I think it's definitely with all Black Lives Matter bringing the conversation to the forefront that there is just more than what we see on an overall scale, right?
Exactly.
Because I think we shouldn't leave any of us behind in it.
At all.
We have a whole Instagram, IG, TV thing about it. Y'all can check that out too. But right now we want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And, I think until all Black Lives matter, no Black lives will matter to the masses.
Exactly.
Right? Like, because we tap into so many different communities.
Yeah.
And we, like, LGBTQ Black lives can grab people from that community and bring them into Black Lives Matter. You have the elderly community that can tap in and bring people in. You have the Black women. Black women are everything, and they probably, in my opinion, they are leading the movement.
Absolutely.
As they usually are, but they're bringing in the women of other cultures, and so we just want to tap in and talk more about how Black lives can matter until all lives matter. Mm-hmm. Black lives will always matter for us, but on the larger scale and from the outside looking in, if we don't embrace everything, embrace all of us,
exactly,
then we truly can't move forward.
Exactly,
in my opinion.
Yeah, so basically to give the specific definition of what, the creators of all Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, and who sparked this?
Well, I mean, that was sparked, like the movement, the parade and everything was sparked by someone different than the actual creator of all Black Lives Matter. So
we're talking about Black Lives Matter specifically
all Black Lives Matter. We're talking about that specific movement, but the person that created
Black Lives Matter is different.
Yeah, but the person that created the
y'all, I know y'all probably confused too, because I'm confused. I'm trying to follow.
So what I'm saying is the person that we were speaking on earlier, that we were just speaking on, is different from the actual person that created the all Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there's the one that made the parade and like did the march and everything like that in Los Angeles.
Well, so that's what I was saying. So we're on the same page.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was just saying it. I was like, wait a minute.
So we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I was saying like first let's talk about like that, and then we can get into why we're talking about the All Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so basically what people are saying the definition, or not people in general, but what the definition gives, and then we'll get to that, is that they say that Black Lives Matter is an anthem, a slogan, a hashtag, and a straightforward statement of fact. While it is not a new movement, the message is centered to the nationwide protest happening right now. Black Lives Matter speaks out against the police brutality and systematic racism that caused the recent deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, and Breonna Taylor, as well as the thousands of violent incidents that happen to Black people that aren't recorded. So I do want to stop there and just basically say that when I hear that statement right there, it kind of leads into why all Black Lives Matter, and then we can move forward. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of things that are happening outside of like the nationwide coverage thing. Like when George Floyd passed away, rest in peace, it was nationwide. It was everywhere. Mm-hmm. But there was just an incident, as an example, there was just an incident that happened in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles, that happened to a few trans women being robbed and being beaten, everything like that. That didn't gain as much nationwide publicity as it should have. So it's just examples like that that happen, that things that have happened to people in our community that don't get the nationwide coverage that it deserves, or nationwide outrage that it deserves. Mm-hmm. Because it's like there's two different things. You can get upset about the media and people not covering it in that aspect, but then you can also get upset about people not talking about it as well in our community. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people that will literally post all day about what happened to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but they will never mention what happened to the trans woman, the Black trans women on Hollywood Boulevard. Mm-hmm. So hence, there goes the need for all Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. So, no, yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. And
that's like I said, the slogan, the hashtag, the movement, all that. So there was, would you want to finish what you were going to say? Finish your thought?
No, I agree with you with that. And I think I don't want people to feel like when people say all Black Lives Matter, that is a separate movement. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to really, really, really like dig in on that. Like, it's not a separate movement. It is a movement within the movement to say that until we know within ourselves we all matter, that we can't push that Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. Because then you have people like me who fall into the LGBTQ community, mm-hmm. and I'm fighting for Black Lives Matter. But then when we have those situations like the trans women in Hollywood that got beat up, yes, people ended up being charged, but people are not speaking up on it. Mm-hmm. Like it puts me into a space. It's like, well, damn, like it only matters up to a point. Like Breonna Taylor's not trending right now.
Exactly.
So women are even only, like, you don't really hear too much. You hear Sandra Bland, you hear about Breonna Taylor, like you hear women up to a point, but then it dies down. And that happens with men too, with the Black men as well. And that's something else we'll talk about soon. But I just want us to realize that, like, we need to give that same attention to all Black lives. Like, we can't like just stop when it comes to people that identify as straight cisgender people.
Mm-hmm. That's very, very true.
And that's where I'm at with it.
No, I totally get that. And when we say that, I want to piggyback off of that and say that when we say that all Black Lives Matter, I feel like I definitely don't feel like it's a easy task for people to get on board and start taking, everyone into consideration when they're so used to focusing on, things that happen that they agree with, and things that not necessarily they don't agree with, but things that they will be willing to fight for. Like, I totally get
like more familiar to them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I get the aspect of like a cis Black man not immediately being outraged. I understand it. A cis straight Black man not immediately being outraged when a transgender Black woman is like murdered or she's beat up. Like, I understand why, because of the simple fact that like that's something that we have issue with in our community already. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not familiar with it, and they don't get it. They don't agree with it. So when something like that happens, you know, I'm not surprised. I'm just,
and we're not excusing,
and I'm not excusing
behavior that either. Yeah.
But I'm just personally, I'm just angry, and I'm sad that, you know, we're fighting for overall, like you said, it's the same thing. It's not separate movements. It's the same thing, but like, I'm just saddened that we're fighting for essentially the same thing, but then there's people that there's, you know, you're telling us to respect and to march and everything like that for people that are killed in the street, like George Floyd, and, you know, the brother that just recently got shot in Los Angeles. I have to look up his name. I can't think of it right now when I'm talking. But you're asking us to be on the front lines and march with that. But then when something happens to our Black trans woman, you know, brother or sister, silence. Like, it's just complete silence. So it's not right. And we just want, and that's why I really kind of fought for this type of like discussion. And Deborah was completely on board, because I want to make sure that there's a lot of emphasis on this topic specifically, you know. And then with that being said, I do want to highlight someone who is just making changes in the Black gay community in Los Angeles and probably tons of other communities, you know, in the States, is Brandon Anthony. You know, he does everything. I would just essentially call him an entrepreneur, because he essentially does everything. But where I first met him is just as a club promoter. And then since things are closed and clubs are closed and business is not as usual, he's been doing other things. And one of those things was co-creating the march. That it was a march and a rally and a protest that started off on Hollywood Boulevard and then ended in Santa Monica, off of Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood in Los Angeles. So he created that, and it was tons and tons of people. Like, I don't know if go look up the pictures of the All Lives Matter protests in Los Angeles. But
all Black
Lives Matter. Excuse me. Yeah, all Black Lives Matter. Yeah, protests in Los Angeles, and it was a huge success. Everybody came out, and then now they commemorated that moment by putting up a plaque. Not necessarily a plaque, but like a sign, like a metal sign. No, it's like a metal like sign that just says "All Black Lives Matter" underneath one of the street names, off of in Hollywood Boulevard, and that was just like a movement. And then also they had painted all on Hollywood Boulevard the All Black Lives Matter as well, which was really big. And I know that was a huge moment for him, and I know he was completely proud of that moment. And it's things like that and steps like that that I feel like we can take to make sure that this is still the main focus for everyone. Not just Black people have to realize that all Black Lives Matter when we're focused on one thing, but everybody needs to realize that all Black Lives matter. You're not going to get away with shit.
No, like, totally. And to that point, though, and I'll answer after you answer, but what do you say to someone that says, like, we need to focus on one movement at a time? Like, we can't, like, we're focused on Black Lives Matter right now. We're trying to get this done before we focus on everything else.
Or even those that say, well, when we say Black Lives Matter, that is everybody, of course. If you're Black, of course your life matters.
Right. So what would you say to someone that's in that space that's like, if we're saying Black Lives Matter, we're incorporating everything?
I would say,
finish that, or I want you to finish that thought. But, or to that point, like if someone says all Black Lives Matter, it's like, why are you separating yourselves from Black Lives Matter?
So I would say to that question, or anyone that asked that question, is that look at the disparities between the two. So essentially, look at when, like I said earlier, look at when somebody passes away by police, somebody gets gunned down by police violence, George Floyd, or what have you, and then look at, what happens and what goes on to Black trans women in our gay Black community, and look at see if they get as much media coverage as a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor. And when something bad happens to someone, it should just equally get the same amount of coverage and outrage as all of them. Like, there shouldn't be one that supersedes the other. So to answer that question, like, look at that. Like, of course we want to be all on the same accord, and of course we want to feel confident when saying that Black Lives Matter and leave it at that. But when you're not giving attention to other Black lives, it's letting us know, or letting them know, and letting the whole world know that there's not as much respect, or there's not as much emphasis on those Black lives. So it's just like, that's why this has to be mentioned. It doesn't have to be a whole separate movement at all, like you said. It's just one thing, but it does need to be a huge conversation that we constantly have to remind everyone. This is not a like a picking on Black cis straight men or something for not giving us recognition. This is like just saying,
making sure that everyone is acknowledged in there.
Exactly. But I'm personally tired, and I know you are too, but we're personally tired of like things happening in the Black gay community and they just getting brushed under the rug. Like, nobody's talking about the trans Black lives that were taken recently, or what happened on Hollywood Boulevard.
Or if they talked about it for a day.
If they talk about it for a day and everything like that,
swept under the rug.
Yeah, like and the case specifically that happened on Hollywood Boulevard to the Black trans women, that got thrown out. The men got released. Like,
what? They got I know, but I will say that it got like,
it did get a little attention. But what I'm saying is that if they literally put pressure, if everybody put pressure as much as they've been putting pressure on other things that have happened in our community, I feel like they would still be in right now. They would be scared for their life, not wanting to leave, or on house arrest, whatever the case may be. But the fact that they were able to get released and then everybody just completely forgets about it is problematic, and it upsets me and my homegirl. Because no, but yeah, what do you think?
Well, because I really quick, I just want to make sure.
Really quick.
Not really quick. I mean, really quick for me, because I want to get to a point. But like, I want to make sure that we bring up the homeless Black lives. We bring up women again. We've been bringing them up, but women, the elderly. We want to make sure we interject that and say, like, all of those Black lives matter as well. But for the point that I'm going to make right now, me being a Black man that falls within the LGBT community, like, it sucks to be within the community fighting for that and being like kind of like this maybe not even the second thought. I feel like white women are maybe the second thought in the LGBTQ community. Like white cis women are the second thought, and then you can get into everything else. I don't know where Black men falls in the order of that, but then you have that, right? And then you have I feel like trans people fall in the bottom of that.
Oh, you're right.
That whole thing.
Second to bottom.
But then you go into Black Lives Matter, which we're also fighting for, Black Lives Matter. But then we're not put into that, like, to the forefront of that. Like, I don't even know where we at with that. You have Black cis men, you have women, you have everything, maybe children, then us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think that's why we're having, or for me, that's why I feel so passionate, and I feel so like, I don't, maybe passion, yes, but also like I feel like this is why it's so important for us to recognize that all Black Lives Matters, because it's like, well, fuck, like, we're already like trying to fight ourselves in one demographic. We shouldn't have to be fighting to be recognized in this other demographic where our skin tone is already like being perceived as something. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense.
So that's just all I want to say. But
I'm happy that you brought up the other Black lives that don't get enough attention, like you said, homelessness and everything like that. Like the homelessness in California and the Black homelessness
in San Francisco alone.
Is literally like the Black homelessness in California is superseding any other demographic in California. Did you know that?
I'm sure. No, but I believe it.
So there's more Black people that are homeless in California than anywhere, which is a problem. It's so problematic. And that's something as well. Like when we say, and like we were talking about, all Black lives all Black lives matter or whatever. When we talked about I guess you said the LGBTQ aspect is just as important as the the homeless.
Because when you think of homeless, you're gonna think of a white man first. Even
exactly.
though like there's so many black people of color, you know, I hate that term, but there are so many people of color that are homeless. When you think of women, you're gonna think of white women first. When you think of elderly, you're gonna think of white elderly people first. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like we have to tap into all of those things and
realize why they're so damn problematic and why they need to change, and we need to fucking like get rid of that system and just turn it down. Black mental health matters.
Mental health as well. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, okay, well, let's move forward.
But I will, before we move forward, I just want to say that we're not going to get rid of this like we're not going to stop having this conversation.
And check out our IG Live, because we had this conversation too.
Yeah, we did.
We had, well, the conversation was a little different than this because it was at a different time. But definitely check out that conversation on our IG Live.
Absolutely. We're not going to have to stop having this conversation.
No.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, the conversation is not over.
The conversation is not over.
Not at all.
It's not funny, but switching to
it's funny because we're looking at what we're about to do next. That's
right. But switching to a more lighter topic.
So I think when we were thinking about at the top of the episode, we said we're going to be talking about two things. This is the second part. So when we were talking about how we were going to go into the all Black Lives Matter situation, we were talking about phobias and like homophobia and everything like that. And we figured like, oh, let's talk now to end it on a little bit of a lighter note, like we've been doing this season. We want to talk about just phobias in general. So we're going to play a game and try to figure out like, we're going to go back and forth. I don't want to see a thing. We're going to go back and forth and try to figure out like what the phobia is. And we want y'all to play with us. So we're going to give it a few little seconds before we give the answer. Yeah. Is that what we want to do? Okay. And then, so who you want to go first? You go first.
You can.
No, you go first. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Okay. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I honestly don't know how to pronounce it.
So I'm going to say the word.
Okay.
And then I'm going to spell it out for you.
Okay. Spelling might help for me.
Okay, so I'm over here whispering.
Okay, listen, y'all don't judge us by how we about to pronounce these words. These words are actually really hard. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I am.
So the word is venostrophobia.
Fear of sex.
Is that your final answer?
I just heard.
Let me pronounce. Let me say it again, and then I'm gonna spell it out. Venostrophobia.
Spell it.
VENUSTRAPO. Excuse me. See, I'm messing up already. VENUSTRAPHOBIA.
Is it like fear of women or fear of like femininity?
Good job. So it's fear of beautiful women.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
I only know because of Venus.
Yeah,
Venus, and the reason why I said sex is because Venus is the sex for astrology. Anyway,
so fear of beautiful women.
Yeah,
Venostrophia.
Wow, there's people.
Phobia. Excuse me, venostrophobia.
People that fear. Okay.
How do somebody fear a beautiful woman?
I don't know.
That's like going up to Beyonce and be like, "I'm scared." Beyonce! You're too beautiful.
So I feel like Venus is the one that gave that away for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. Alctorophobia.
Alctorophobia? They spell it, please.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Right.
ALEKTORO phobia.
So the first thing I think about is like alkaline water.
Okay. Okay. But it's Alctoro.
Okay, but I'm saying that's the first thing I thought about. But it has an A, and the fact that it says AL, it sounds like it's close to alcohol. So I'm gonna say a fear of alcohol.
Good. No, that's a good guess. But it's a fear of chickens.
What? A fear of chickens? Like, I wonder where that word. We have to figure out the root word. Like, why is the root word?
I don't know why that's that. Yeah,
that's weird. But y'all look this up and let us know.
Right, let us know y'all.
Why did they use that word before phobia?
Y'all scared of chickens? Okay, what's yours?
Okay, so my next one is somniphobia. So that's
sleep. Somniphobia.
I'm gonna spell it out.
Oh.
SOMNIPHOBIA. Somniphobia.
That's like somnia. That's like fear of like forgetting or fear of like.
You were on the right track.
Sleep, like
fear of the right.
Like insomnia, insomnia is like. Oh,
you said it. It's a fear of sleep.
I said it.
Yeah, it's a fear of sleep. Mm-hmm. Fear of sleep.
Insomnia. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I took the GRE.
Oh, okay. Come on then, smart.
But no, when you take the GRE, you learn how to break down words and the root meaning. Okay.
Well, that's really good.
Okay. So let's do this one. Ecophobia.
Okay, so eco is kind of like the ecophobia is like the ecosystem, I guess.
Okay, but dig deeper. Like, what is the ecosystem?
Like a moon or something? What is it have in the ecosystem?
Like, what is it for us? Like
environment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Fear of the earth. I don't know.
Okay, so what is Earth to us?
Planet.
Okay, but we Earth is our what?
Home.
Okay.
Home?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird. Fear of what home?
Fear of home.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But it's different. I made this in the notes. It's different from domatophobia. Domatophobia. DOMATO phobia. Mm-hmm. That is fear. That is fear of house. That's a fear of a house. But having a fear of home is ecophobia.
I guess of like being home or something or going home.
But but the other one is fear of houses, which is like, where do you live?
Exactly. Interesting.
Anyway, but good job. You got it.
Child, you walked me through it. Anyways, the next one I have is leucophobia. So leucophobia. So I'm going to spell it LEUKOPHOBIA. Leucophobia.
I'm thinking of the cancer.
That's the
fear of cancer?
No, it's not fear of cancer. It's actually nothing even close.
Oh, leuco. Oh, I don't know. Fear of shit. I don't know. Tell me.
So it's actually fear of the color white.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Fear of the color white.
Oh, I can't fear that because I'm not gonna say why. I don't want y'all to know, but that's I fear it. I can't.
But I'm saying that means that you would be scared of the T-shirt that you're wearing.
Yeah, touche.
The color white, because you can't look at. You thinking about a person, No, ain't that crazy? What if you like? I wonder if that falls into the category of like people. Like, I wonder if this says fear of white, and you're like you have a fear of white people. I have to look at more. I have to look that up too.
Okay, wait. Let's do this one. What was that number? What 3. 2? That was 3.
That was my third one.
That was your third one. Did you start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do this one. Oh shit! I don't even know how to pronounce this. I'm gonna let my iPhone do it. FAB phobia.
FAB? So spell it.
EPH. EBI. PHOBIA.
EPH.
FEB phobia. FAB phobia.
What is the first 3 letters?
EPH. EBI phobia.
A fear of elephants?
Close. It's a fear of teenagers.
How's that close, nigga? The hell? Close? What? A fear of teenagers?
Yes, people fear teenagers. Wow. Okay, what's your next one?
This has me thinking.
Right. No, it really has me thinking.
It has me really
I'm like, people are like, do I fear any of this shit?
So I'm thinking that maybe, like, I know it's like a fear and a phobia.
Uh-huh.
Let's get to the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go. Well, finish your thought, though. You had you thinking what?
No, I just feel like when you say a phobia of something, it's not necessarily that you're like, well, I know what phobia means, but what it says, it's not necessarily that you're petrified or scared. You just feel uncomfortable around that.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's what my thought. Because if you're a fear of teenagers, it's like, how would you even, like, do you have to stay in the house?
Because teenagers are everywhere.
And it's not like you're going to freak out. And I wonder if they
But people
freak
cross
out.
the street sometimes, too. Like, even when I'm walking Samoa, like the dog, like.
But I'm saying, but that's a difference. That just means that you're uncomfortable. But I'm like, so when I'm thinking about phobia, I always think about, like, an arachnophobia when you're scared of, like,
well, I have a fear. Oh, we get to that. I'll finish. Let's finish this. Sorry.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll dive deeper.
But yeah, I'm interested to see it. Go ahead.
So my next one is philophobia. So philophobia. It's a PHILO phobia. PHOBIA.
Is it fear of learning?
No,
close. Fear of like I'm thinking like it's not. I'm thinking like philosophy. Is it fear of like
philophobia?
Is it fear of?
And I'm gonna say that it's probably the fear of a lot of people and they don't know it.
Okay.
If that helps out a lot.
It doesn't.
What y'all think? Oh, we can't hear y'all.
Right. No, we can't hear you. Okay, what is it?
Philophobia. Philophobia is the fear of love.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You would think that because it's spelled PHIL.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the
fear of love, huh?
I feel like a lot of people probably do have that and they don't know it.
They don't know it, yeah. I don't know if I maybe I might have the fear of it.
No, you don't have it.
I want it. Okay, this is the last one for me. Cacophobia.
Cackle? How do you spell it?
CACO phobia.
Oh,
or is it maybe Keiko? Maybe Keiko.
Yeah, because when I first heard, I was like,
but let's see. Let's have. Oh, okay. What is it?
I'm not playing that.
Let me close
it. Rude ass dog.
Okay. Last one. Cacophobia. What do you think that is?
How do you spell it?
CACO phobia.
CACO. So the first thing I thought about is like cackling, like laughing, like the fear of laughing, but I don't think
it could. I mean, when people laugh, they kind of have this expression. So
let me see. CACO. I'm trying to think. So I would say it's a fear of cats.
Oh, I want to look that up because I don't like cats at all.
I don't like cats.
I
either.
hate cats. Is that your final answer?
No. It's the fear of. You just said it's like an expression. I heard that.
Okay.
So it's a fear of.
It's a stuck expression. Maybe that'll help too.
It's the fear of surprise.
Okay. No.
No. What is it? I give up. I give up.
It's the fear of ugly.
Oh. Now that's a fear that I could get along with. No, I'm just kidding. It's the fear of ugly, which is crazy because somebody had a fear of beautiful women. Like,
so we started with the beautiful one, we ended with the ugly. But that is, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but
that's
crazy.
These are so crazy. These are real phobias.
These are real phobias. We didn't make this up. These are real phobias. But you know, go ahead.
I was just saying. Now we got those phobias that I don't. The only one I can't even relate to none of those. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't relate to any of those, but the one I have a phobia, which I have to look up. Actually, maybe I can look it up as I'm talking about it, and I'm gonna filibuster because since I was little, like it's always been a thing. Like I don't know why. I think it's probably like okay, well that's easy. Maybe it's just the shock of it, but it's called balloon phobia.
You're scared of balloons?
Yeah, I don't like balloons. I'm not really scared of balloons. I just hate
that one was easy.
Right. It came up and said balloon phobia. And I also hate it. I know the listeners will know this. There's a phobia where there's like a hole when you see a bunch of little holes combined together, like when the holes are like on your skin or something, or like when there's a bunch of like, and it makes me itch. Like, I hate that.
So is it a phobia? Or
it is a phobia. It's a phobia. Like I don't like seeing it. Like if I see a bunch of like little like holes like next to each other, or if I see like hella like if I see like an electronic kind of like freak out and it kind of have like those different numbers and stuff on it, like that makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a phobia. I can't think of the name of it, but that is a phobia that I like, or I like. I don't like it.
Mine is I feel like this is probably pretty common. Mine is claustrophobia. Oh goodness. I get anxiety.
But you fly all the time.
I'm like, why would I be claustrophobic on that?
I would think in the tube, I don't want to. Actually, I'm not gonna put that in your head. So just go ahead and
watch it.
So claustrophobia.
No, I feel like it's more intertwined with me not being able to move. So like I'm tall, as I don't know if everybody knows, but I'm 6'3". So if I'm behind someone in a car or something, I can't move my legs. Oh, I'm just getting excited right now thinking about it. If I'm in a car right now, if I'm in a car right now, if I'm in a car and I can't move my legs, like I really get anxiety and I start like panicking. The same, and you mentioned plane. The same thing with plane. If I don't have leg room, put me in the aisle. Put me somewhere so I can put my legs out.
Yeah.
But then also for me it's just more so a tight spaces. So I get scared of like being like suffocated, like not being able to move my arms. Like I'm not joking. That's a big fear. It makes me uncomfortable. So if we just gave our fears, I think a good way we can end the episode on is saying a way of getting over our fear, our phobias. So as a guest, we can both take guesses on what we think will be helpful to get over fear. What would you say?
I would say to confront it.
Okay.
Like confront your fears and recognize that it is like safe. It's not as bad, like having a fear of a house, like, I mean, but I feel like there's probably more that goes into it than just the fear of the physical thing. Like maybe they fear like it's going to collapse or something, but just knowing that, using that example, that homes have been standing since the 1900s are still here, like just confronting it.
Exactly. I agree.
All those fears,
I completely agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think you definitely, the more times you're exposed to something, the more times you learn to deal with it. And it's okay.
That is good.
Instead of just staying away from it altogether. But I don't know if I can get with being claustrophobic.
I feel that.
I guess there's certain phobias we like.
It's just gonna be a life of like the little thing I was talking about, the little holes all like tight holes next to each other. Oh, I can't get over that. That just makes me uncomfortable. Period.
So I guess the what they say on Google. I don't know what Google say. What did Google say is the most effective, the best way to get over phobias? They say the most effective way to overcome a phobia is by gradually and repeatedly exposing yourself to what you fear in a safe and controlled way. During this exposure process, you'll learn to write out the anxiety and fear until it inevitably passes.
Okay, well, I guess I'll buy some balloons and start popping them.
Right, and I guess I'll sit in the back seat, and because I mean, I feel like I just have to. Also, I feel like I'll just have to breathe, take deep breaths.
Yeah, knowing you're alive, I think.
Yeah, take deep breaths and probably listen to music or something. But I need to move my legs. Yeah. Not only are they long, they thick.
No, so I feel you. It's like trying to figure out how to get through all of that. So all Black Lives Matter.
All Black Lives Matter.
We don't want to negate from that, because that is definitely important. Yeah. And whatever phobias you have, let us know y'all phobias.
Yeah.
Let us know y'all phobias.
Let us know if you were surprised about the ones that we just mentioned today.
Right, yes. And let the fellow listeners know about the phobias as well.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Thinking about it now is making me itch.
Okay, making me hella I'm like moving my legs right now.
I'm like, get me out of here. Anyway. We love y'all.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank y'all for tuning in. We halfway through. No, we're not halfway through. We're almost halfway through season 5.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, we've been getting it in. I love the consistency.
Yes, that's crazy. Wow. Anyway.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Love y'all. Keep it cute. Stay safe. Get your EDD money if you unemployed.
Oh, he's ghetto as fuck, y'all. I'm not going to play with him. Just to let you know.
Bye.